Welcome back to CASE Documentaries. I bring you true crime, disturbing stories and other things that you may later regret knowing, with regular uploads every week. And in fact, for the rest of the year, I am uploading daily. So I guess it's with regular uploads every single day. Please do join the quickly growing CASE family by hitting subscribe now and turning on notifications. Thank you so much to all of my patrons. If your name is on screen right now, then you're a legend. And if you want your name on screen, the link is down below, but zero pressure from me. Let's get straight into today's dark case. Viewer discretion is advised for this educational documentary. Wilma Andersson, a 17-year-old resident of Sweden, possessed the promise of a bright future. With her glowing long blonde hair and a radiant smile, she seemed to captivate everyone around her. The world was at her fingertips, brimming with endless possibilities. When Wilma was allegedly just 15 years old, she entered into a relationship with someone 6 years her senior. The man was reportedly 21 years old when they started dating, which just seems totally illegal. However, in Sweden, the age of consent is 15, so in this circumstance it appears that no crime was yet committed. This 21-year-old man was a Swedish-Kurdish man named Tishko Ahmed Shabaz. Shabaz, originally from Iraq, had obtained Swedish citizenship in 2014. One thing we need to know about Shabaz, something that will become very relevant later on, is that he was completely obsessed with Donald Trump. Exactly how this obsession started, we don't know. Sweden could not be further from the US in terms of geography or politics. His obsession, though, was so great that he even tried to go to the US to campaign on behalf of Trump. However, his application to do so was denied as he didn't have the right paperwork. Shabaz lived in Uddevalla, which is a town located between Gothenburg and Oslo. The relationship between Wilma and Shabaz seemed good to begin with, but it started to degrade over time. By the time Wilma was 17 and Shabaz was 23, it was in tatters. Shabaz started to create some strange conspiracies aimed at Wilma, the young woman he was supposed to love. In the lead up to the 2020 US elections, Shabaz began to unravel completely. He believed that Wilma was in some way satanic, and to make this delusion even worse, things somehow got intertwined with US politics. Shabaz believed that Wilma was some kind of agent for Joe Biden's Democrats, the man that was running against his hero, Donald Trump. It appears that this was too much for their relationship to bear. Shabaz believed that Wilma bore some of the responsibility for how Trump was polling. Their relationship of over 2 years could not stand the strain, and the couple went their separate ways. However, Shabaz could not let go of what he thought Wilma had done to Trump and the Republicans. He was convinced that 17-year-old Swedish Wilma Andersson was a satanic Democratic agent. On November 14th, 2019, Wilma reluctantly made her way to her ex-boyfriend's house to retrieve her belongings that she had left behind following the breakup. Although it was a task she would rather have avoided, it was the only way that she could repossess her belongings still in Shabaz's house. But after this visit to retrieve her belongings, Wilma mysteriously vanished. Growing increasingly concerned for her safety and unable to locate her themselves, Wilma's loved ones reported her missing to the police 3 days later. It was now November 17th, 2019. When Wilma's parents heard of her disappearance, they reached out to ex-Shabaz. When they initially interviewed him, he assured them that Wilma had left his house and that she was in good health when she departed. However, he denied having any knowledge of her whereabouts now, or having had any contact with her since that time. Yet strangely, he said Wilma's coat and handbag were still at his apartment. This led authorities to start doubting his claims. Wilma's sudden disappearance left her family and friends deeply worried, and now they were stuck, desperately searching for answers. Her loved ones were left trying to uncover any information that could lead to her safe return home. Authorities initiated an investigation into her disappearance, hoping to unravel the mystery surrounding her supposed vanishing act. As the investigation progressed, Wilma's loved ones still held on to hope, simply praying for her safe return. They anxiously awaited any developments that may shed light on her whereabouts and bring her back home. As word spread of Wilma's disappearance, the community rallied together to assist in search efforts. Hundreds of dedicated volunteers joined forces, determined to find any trace of Wilma's whereabouts. In a remarkable display of solidarity, people from all walks of life came forward, offering their time and resources to aid in the search. Amazingly, in total, over 5,000 people were involved in the search. This made it one of Sweden's largest ever search operations. The local police in Sweden were fully committed to finding Wilma. Recognizing the urgency of the situation, they employed various means to cover all areas possible. Divers were deployed to search bodies of water, while a mini submarine was utilized to explore underwater locations that were otherwise inaccessible. Amidst the extensive search operation, Wilma's loved ones refused to give in to despair. They held on to the belief that she was still alive despite the passing of time. Every passing minute, however, brought a growing sense of foreboding. The outlook became increasingly grim as hours turned into days, casting a shadow of uncertainty and concern over the community. On November 28, 2019, Swedish authorities searched Shabaz's apartment in their desperate search for Wilma. She had now been missing for more than 10 days. As the crime scene investigators meticulously combed through every inch of Shabaz's apartment, their initial efforts seemed to yield no sign of Wilma's presence. However, just as they were preparing to conclude the search, a seemingly insignificant travel bag captured the investigators' attention. Curiosity piqued, they carefully inspected the bag, hoping it might hold valuable clues regarding Wilma's whereabouts. The crime scene investigators approached the travel bag with caution. Slowly, they opened it, unsure of what they may find inside. Horror washed over them as the bag revealed its contents. There, nestled within, was a shocking and gruesome discovery: a human head, wrapped meticulously in tape and aluminium foil. A true horror lay before them. Investigators quickly identified the victim as Wilma. After this unimaginable discovery, a discovery that dashed the hopes of a family and a nation, further investigation of the property was carried out. During their meticulous search, the crime scene investigators found red vital fluid on the floor, suggesting a desperate struggle had taken place. In addition, a large, sharp kitchen implement was discovered, and this raised suspicion as to what had gone on in the home. The investigators promptly sent the knife for testing, and the results, perhaps predictably, came back positive for traces of Wilma's DNA. Later, the prosecutors involved in the investigation of Wilma's case made a chilling revelation. They concluded that Wilma was a victim of a heinous act of repeated violence, suggesting a brutal and savage attack. The weight of evidence clearly pointed towards Shabaz as the prime suspect in Wilma's murder. Therefore, the authorities wasted no time in apprehending him immediately after the horrifying discovery at his apartment. After his arrest, he absolutely denied any involvement, blaming the passing of his ex-girlfriend somehow on the Swedish authorities. He claimed that he loved her deeply and that he had always led a flawless life, always abiding by the law. However, the investigation took a turn when detectives interviewed his neighbors. They revealed that they had heard some disturbing screams, these bone-chilling noises suspiciously emanating from his apartment on the very same night that Wilma disappeared. Even though the police knew that Wilma was deceased, their determination to find her body remained unwavering. The rest of her remains could hold further evidence to aid this investigation, and of course the Andersson family deserved closure for their beloved Wilma. Their discovery of the head had already served as a grim confirmation of her tragic fate. However, rather than giving up, the police continued their relentless search. Amidst this harrowing situation, Wilma's relatives called upon the citizens of Sweden to join them in their quest. They pleaded with the public not to lose hope and to continue searching for any trace of Wilma. In a heart-wrenching plea to the Swedish media, her mother expressed the family's anguish and desperation. She emphasized the importance of finding Wilma. A translation of her words say, "We want to find our daughter and sister. It is completely inhumane that we are going through this. Please do not stop looking for Wilma. I hope people are observant if they see something apparent in water or terrain, that people have their eyes open." By December 2019, the search for Wilma's body had attracted a significant number of volunteers. Almost 3 weeks after she was first reported missing, approximately 5,000 individuals had joined in the search efforts to locate her remains. The community had come together, demonstrating their commitment to Wilma and her family. In May 2020, Tishko Shabaz faced serious criminal charges of murder and desecration of human remains. Despite the accusation's gravity and the overwhelming evidence, Shabaz pleaded not guilty to all charges brought against him. During the summer of 2020, the Swedish National Board of Forensic Medicine conducted an assessment on Tishko's mental health. The finding reveals that he did not exhibit any signs of a severe or debilitating mental illness. Instead, experts identified certain personality traits commonly associated with narcissism, which can be attributed instead to a narcissistic personality disorder. His behavior displayed characteristics such as grandiosity and an inflated sense of self-importance, typical of individuals with this disorder. Remember, this man seemed to believe his presence could have helped Trump to win the 2020 election. These negative traits seem to be particularly prominent in Shabaz's demeanor. During the trial, despite the mounting evidence against him, he still adamantly maintained his innocence, and he repeatedly denied playing any role in the murder of Wilma. However, the Swedish District Court reached a different conclusion. On July 27, 2020, Shabaz was found guilty of murder and violating Wilma's remains. The gravity of his crime was reflected in the court's decision to sentence Tishko to life imprisonment. In addition to the life sentence, the court ordered Tishko to pay €22,000 to Wilma's grieving family. Even after the conclusion of his trial, Shabaz stubbornly persisted in proclaiming his innocence. Despite the overwhelming evidence and the court's verdict, he continued to maintain that he had nothing to do with Wilma's tragic death. This unwavering denial only added to the anguish and frustration experienced by Wilma's family and the community at large. Despite being sentenced to life in prison, the Court of Appeal for Western Sweden lowered his sentence from life in prison to just 18 years for Wilma's murder. Do you think the punishment fits the crime here? What do you think could be done to avoid something like this happening again in the future? Please do let me know down in the comments. Remember, I'm uploading daily until the end of the year, so I will see you tomorrow. Be careful out there, and I'll see you soon.